Hello, young humans. It's your friendly librarian, Andy Saxton. Today we're going to be reading a book called Carl, Get Out of the Garden, which is about a kid, person called Carolus Linnaeus, and how he named plants that he had in his garden. Before we read the book, we're going to sing a little song about gardening. So this is a song by one of my favorite singers from when I was a kid. His name is Raffi. I first saw a Raffi concert when I was 3 years old. That was 30 years ago. I was 3 years old and I saw him 30 years ago. So for you math geniuses out there, how old would that make me if I was 3 years old when I saw a Raffi concert? And that was 30 years ago. 3 plus 30. If you guessed, I am 33. If you figured that out through addition, then you're correct. I'm 33 years old. So we're going to sing a song called The Garden Song by Raffi. And it has a chorus that repeats. I'll sing that first, so you can sing along with me. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and an inch of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rains come tumbling down. Pulling weeds, picking stones, they are made of dreams and bones. Need a place to call my own for the time. Okay, everybody, here's the last chorus. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and an inch of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes a-tumbling down. Thanks for singing with me, everybody. So that was a song about a garden. I don't know. Have any of you planted a garden before? Or just have a garden in your home or maybe near your home that you really like? Then this book is for you. This is all about how scientists named plants so that all other people in the world would know what plant they're talking about when they were talking about a specific plant. So maybe you have a garden that you know of and it has a really pretty flower. Maybe, you call it a daffodil or a tulip or a dandelion. Maybe your friend who speaks Spanish calls a dandelion diente de los leones, which means a tooth of a lion, which is kind of a funny name for a dandelion. But also, isn't dandelion kind of a funny name for a flower? So this book is all about that. How do you come up with a scientifically recognized name for a flower? Also animals and other things. I'll just read on. You'll see. Okay. So again, this book is called Carl, Get Out of the Garden. This is Carl studying a plant. Carl, Get Out of the Garden. Carolus Linnaeus and the Naming of Everything by Anita Sanchez, illustrated by Catherine Stock. And thanks to Charles Bridge Publishing for publishing this book. Carl Linné was in the garden again. He just wouldn't stay out of it. Carl, get out of the garden, Carl's mother ordered him to stay inside and study. She dreamed that someday he'd be a fine scholar, lawyer, or best of all, minister of the big church in their parish in Sternbolt, Sweden. But Carl was bored by schoolwork. He was always sneaking out to the garden. Maybe some of you can relate to being bored by schoolwork. Even when Carl was a baby, he loved plants. He was born in the spring of 1707. That's, how many years ago was that? 1707, nearly 300 years ago, a little bit more. And when he cried, his parents gave him flowers to calm him. As soon as he learned to walk, Carl toddled outdoors to his father's garden. As he got older, he pestered his father to tell him the name of every single plant and the bugs. Carl watched them for hours. Striped ones, fuzzy ones, bugs with huge eyes and lots of legs. What were their names? Carl, get out of the garden, his mother begged him to get back to his school books. But Carl was too busy watching caterpillars grow. Carl loved the garden, but he hated spending long hours indoors studying Greek and Latin. Those are languages. Annoyed teachers told Carl's parents that their son wasn't smart enough to become a minister. Carl's disappointed father considered apprenticing him to a shoemaker. But one teacher appreciated Carl's love of plants and suggested that the boy become a doctor. In those days, plants were medicine, so Carl could still spend lots of time in the garden. Carl pleaded to go to medical school instead of making shoes. Finally, his parents reluctantly agreed. What you enjoy doing, you will do well, his father told him. I agree, what you enjoy doing, you'll do well. Which would you rather do? Go to medical school and become a doctor, or make shoes? Both sound kind of fun. Even after he became a rich and famous man, Carl went on working in the garden. He planted thousands of species from all over the world: banana trees, wild tulips, water lilies, cacao bushes, laurel trees, and his beloved twin flowers. Plants for medicine, plants for food, plants for learning, plants for joy. Monkeys, parrots, and peacocks shared the garden too. Among his planted animals, Carl said, I live happier than a king. Carl never did get out of the garden. Okay. Parents, if you do check this out for your kids, there's a little more information. You might want to read on with them. And just as a literacy tip for you, parents, thanks, and you two kids, pay attention. One thing that you want to do is remember, talk about everything. So maybe next time you visit the garden, you can look at different kinds of plants that you can find there. Look at how they're similar and different. See if you can name, how many plants can you name in that garden? Check out other gardens with similar plants, red roses, white roses, yellow roses. And even if you don't know the names for them, it's really useful to talk about the differences and just understand and help your kids understand that they do have names. So thanks for listening to the story time. Again, the book was Carl, Get Out of the Garden by Anita Sanchez, illustrated by Catherine Cook. And thanks again to Charles Ridge Publishing for letting us read this book.